All right, so once we are on this page pertaining to the marketing strategy that is linked in the cohort that you can copy and paste. Now we are copy and pasting this. You don't necessarily need to duplicate it. It'll show the duplication thing up here, but you can come here and just copy literally everything. Command C, and then you go to your project that you created where it's right here. So the example project that you created, and you possibly have ideas already flowing, but then you can go here, click slash, and then type in page to make a page, and then you can name this marketing strategy. You can click here, and then you can paste that template in here. So now we're going to be doing this for a few different things throughout this module as a whole and the cohort as a whole for iterating on this project and potentially creating a product or service out of it. So once you have that, I'm going to go to mine where I have it here. So 2-Hour Writer. And then we're going to go to marketing strategy. And so I have all of this fleshed out. So the first thing we want to do is we want to gain clarity on what it is that we're doing. We want to dissect and understand that like actual real world utility and potential marketing firepower of our interests and what we do on a daily basis, because that's the one thing that people want. As I've said before, people don't care about the interest, they care about how it will impact their life. So I have to think in terms of writing, right? Because I'm creating a project called the 2-Hour Writer. So it's writing and productivity in a sense, but more so like my philosophy on creative work, right? That's it, creative work. I don't know why I didn't come up with that sooner. And you can see where all of this is going to kind of suck at first. It's really going to suck at first until you start refining it and get those words right. You may not come up with the right word just because your brain can't think of it right now. And you have to be okay with that, because creative work, like, why didn't I think of that? It's in my bio. And I've written all of these out so far about writing when creative work is a huge part of that. And there's a lot behind creative work, like productivity, like rest, like psychology, the default mode network, and all of that stuff that I've learned about through my study in the things that I like to study, the things that I'm reading, the things that we've been doing this entire curriculum, this entire cohort. So, what do I do on a weekly basis relating to that interest of, which is writing and creative work, right? Those are two things that are going hand in hand with the product that I'm building out. So I write newsletters, tweets, and threads. I turn that writing into YouTube videos, podcasts, and book chapters. I go on walks to generate ideas and expand my mind. I have a process of turning those ideas into a newsletter or content. And you can see here how this is going to start to play out. We have a lot more to talk about, but I turned my process, my idea generation process, into a lead magnet. It's called 7 Days to Genius Ideas, and it's going to lead into this course and then eventually this cohort, right? They're going to build on top of each other. And that's not to mention how many times I have kind of failed at all of this stuff and have changed my offers over time, because that's just how it goes. You're allowed to change. And so the next thing I do is I lay out in the sun and read, because it's directly applicable to my writing. I have to be reading. That is a major part that we'll discuss in the unique mechanism aspect, or the how you're helping someone. And so I'm able to work 2 to 4 hours a day. That's what I do. And now, who can this help the most, right? So that's the thing. You're pulling from your experience, what you do on a daily basis. You're trying to understand the why behind that and become conscious of what you're actually doing on a daily basis and aware, and like start acting with intention towards your goals and your vision. And then you can start to see who can this help the most, right? That is where this is really going to come into play. So anyone that wants to start an online business, become a creator, or do something creative for a living, current creators, writers, or others that want to write better newsletters, those that aspire to be like their favorite authors, speakers, or public intellectuals, those with a spiritual or philosophical inclination, those that want to learn how to monetize their creative work. See how this comes into play? So creative work just came to my mind recently, and it's for those that want to learn how to monetize it and do it full time. Those that want to start building leverage online through writing. That's a big argument that you hear all the time on Twitter. Creators that don't want to limit themselves to a specific niche and learn how to write in a way that is interesting and still builds an engaged audience. Those that want to use the only way of turning their knowledge and interests into a sustainable future income. Now, why would you want to write? And this write is your interest here. Why would you want to write? Why would you want to do creative work? Why would I want to do what I'm doing right now? Why do I do it? Right? It helps me have better ideas. It opens up a world of opportunities in the digital, personal, professional life. It's the foundation of any high-value skill set. It allows you to form a habit of pursuing your curiosity with a potential to do it full time. Your curiosity pursuit gains utility, application, and meaning. So what opportunities will this open up for you? And so this is under the lens of personal, professional, health, wealth, relationships, things that you do on a daily basis and how it actually applies to your life. This is the most difficult yet most simple part, because we aren't living conscious lives, is what opportunities will my conscious actions of writing and creative work, what opportunities will those open up? And it does take some experience to understand this, but you can also research other people and their landing pages to figure this out. So when will I start seeing results? So this is completely dependent on how you are teaching, what you're teaching it, and this is something to keep in the back of your head until the time comes, right? Because it will take 3 to 6 months to build an audience, but it will take a few months to be able to get your writing down to the point of, let's say, writing 2 hours a day. And so how is this different from what others are teaching? So digital world does not demand professional writing. I'm big on writing however you want, but while keeping the principles of engaging communication in mind. So persuasive writing, you can write whatever you want, however you want, and attract the perfect audience by just being yourself. So that's kind of my differentiating factor. And as I mentioned, none of this is going to be perfect yet. Okay. So the next thing is the big problem. So the big problem, and again, think of your kind of life's work or your life's purpose here. What is the big problem that you are trying to solve in the world? What is the big problem that you are trying to solve in your life? And how does your interest or your skill relate to that? So writing online and creative work. So day-to-day problems in my personal life, man, I'm tired. I'm sorry for yawning. But in my personal life, not having mental clarity, I can let you guys read through this and I'll post it in the actual cohort so you can see it, because I'm just reading this stuff off, and it'll do you better to read through it yourself and try to reverse engineer my thought process rather than me just telling you it, right? Because you have to think through this. I can't just give everything to you. Nobody can give anything to you. That's a life lesson. But then you end up, so you write out the problems that relate to their personal life and the problems that relate to their professional life. And you don't have to experience these things. This can be kind of predictive, right? Where the reason I write is because I want to do a TEDx talk in the future. You're not promising a TEDx talk. You're just planning that idea in their mind. You can talk about anything or show them the opportunities that it will open to them without having done it yourself if you don't say that you have done it. It's that simple. Just don't say you have done it and you can talk about it. So you can go through those. And then long-term problems. So pretty much taking these, reflecting on them, and thinking, okay, what is this going to lead to? So having long periods of paralysis by analysis, being indecisive, and missing out on life opportunities. What we're doing here is really just thinking, and we are guiding people through their own thinking, right? That's exactly what we're doing here. So again, I'll let you read through all of these, but let's see if there's anything else I need to cover. Because all of this, it's supposed to be rough. It's supposed to be very rough draft right now, and just getting ideas out of your head and opening up room for more better ideas. So let's say, so the benefits to overcoming these, pretty simple, based on your interest. And then brainstorming your clear promise. So this is where things start to get a bit tricky, because you want it to be as clear and concise as possible and as quantifiable as possible. And you have to kind of shift your perspective around your own interest in order to find that, right? Because like with Make Money Online, it's like, oh, I can promise you $5,000 a month. With writing, it's like, well, I need to think of a time frame now. How fast can they learn writing with my system? How fast can they get X result from writing? How fast can they write? Right? Like Tim Denning, for example, has a product called 10x Your Writing, which helps writers write faster. So it's like how he plans out and writes like 5 blog articles a week, right? So something crazy like that. And for a writer that wants to learn how to write faster, they'll be interested in that, right? And so next is the personal experience. So you are digging into your past and understanding like where you were before writing, where you were after writing, and the problems and everything that came in between that. So I would encourage you to answer these questions on your own, because we're just getting repetitive here again. And so your unique mechanism. Are we on this spot? No, we're cutting it off there. And the next video will be on your unique mechanism, and after we learn about all of that during the actual curriculum.